Hey y'all, it's Lindsey, and I'm just gonna do this kind of as a one take, and I just wanted to give y'all an update. Since I didn't get a Wellness Wednesday in this past week, I just thought I'd sort of share with you how our week went. And I guess I'll just start at the beginning. So on Friday, Caitlin contracted pink eye, and then she was very generous and shared that with Molly. And then Molly also managed to contract an ear infection, and we all kind of had this sinus junk flowing through our systems. And on Sunday morning, we left to drive down to Chicago. Jared had a work trip in Chicago and said, hey, why don't you and the girls just drive down and we'll sort of make a mini vacation out of it. So that's what we did. And we did so many fun things while we were in Chicago, even though we all had the head junk, and the girls also shared the conjunctivitis with me. So myself, Caitlin, and Molly had to deal with all of the eye drops and the super fun business like that. And Molly had to deal with antibiotics for her ear infection. It was pretty bad, actually. So anyway, we went through, dealt with all of those things while getting to explore the city of Chicago. Excuse me. And we got to go to a lot of fun places. The girls got to ride the L train for the first time. It was actually their second experience with public transportation. When we lived in Alaska, we rode the bus from the south side of Anchorage, where we lived, to kind of like the northern end of Anchorage, just as a fun activity one time. So, but I don't think they really remember that. Anyway, we got to go to the Children's Museum at the Navy Pier. We got to go to Harry Carey's restaurant at the Navy Pier. It was really fun over there. We got there in the late afternoon, so we didn't spend as much time there as we wanted to, but the girls enjoyed every bit of it. And then and that was Monday. Tuesday, we got to go to Shed Aquarium, and it was really cool. Really cool. They have a brand new exhibit that wasn't even open to the public whenever we went, and we got some access to it, and it was beautiful. And the girls really loved watching they loved the beluga whales. They had like 5 ginormous beluga whales, and they were in kind of a small tank. I don't know if that was normal or not normal, but they were huge. And you could see them. You could see their dolphins. They had an otter that we saw. They had a lot of really neat things, and the girls enjoyed that. And then in the afternoon, we took a break because we all were still dealing with all of this sinus junk or cold. I'm not really even sure what we all had. It was just junk. And then Wednesday, we got up and we went to the Adler Planetarium, and they loved the planetarium. That was probably their favorite out of all of the places we went. And what was really neat was the fact that this past year of homeschooling, our science curriculum was all about the weather, earth science, and the universe. So astronomy and earth science, basically. And so Caitlin got to connect a lot of dots. She got to see a lot of things that we had read about and discussed over the year. And so she really enjoyed that. And they had this really cool area that was for preschool through second graders. And it was like a lot of hands-on things. You got to drive little robotic rovers, like fake rovers. You got to physically drive, like be inside of this really neat, like they call it like Planet X, and it was kind of like a space vehicle, and you had to like pedal with your hands for one person, and the other person was supposed to steer, and you could move things around on this fake Planet X. And they loved it. You got to pretend to launch a rocket. You got to do just all kinds of fun things. So they really loved that. And then after the planetarium, we went to the Lincoln Park Zoo, which we were dragging by that point. Definitely dragging at that stage of the game. But the girls really enjoyed that as well. And then on Thursday we finally came home and tried to recuperate. It was a lot, but we managed to survive it all. And we also got to eat some good food. I stayed on Trim Healthy Mama with the exception of 3 meals. And those 3 meals were planned. Like, in my mind, I knew for a fact that we wanted to eat Chicago deep dish pizza. I knew I wanted to do the Italian beef sandwiches that are kind of like popular for Chicago. And then there was one meal that I did go off plan, and it was not intentional, or at least it wasn't like, I wasn't mentally like, I'm doing this. And that was at Harry Carey's restaurant. And basically there I had this Southwest salad. So it was a crossover, and it was an on-plan crossover because it had the black beans and the corn, and it had avocado, which I couldn't eat. But then it had chicken. I think if they didn't have that creamy dressing, it had a creamy dressing. So that's where the fat came into play. But I was great with that, but I was so hungry afterwards that, excuse me, I wound up eating Caitlin's leftover French fries, which were not on plan. No. And then we had Giordano's deep dish pizza, which, amazing pizza. Oh my goodness. Like, that was worth it, honestly. And then the Italian beef sandwiches from, I think it was from Portillo's. Yeah, we went to Portillo's, and those were amazing. Whew, good food. Honestly, everything else I stayed true to Trim Healthy Mama on plan. It was great, and now I've got some breakouts from the sugar, basically, from those meals, because I know there was definitely some kind of sugar in the dough for the pizza. I'm running on very little cognitive function right now because last night Lauren wound up throwing up a couple of times. Anyway, it's okay. So we came back home. It was a really good trip. And the thing about it is, when you're a Trim Healthy Mama, you can intentionally choose to go off plan and make choices that would not be in line with an SE, fuel pull, crossover, any of those things. And you can choose to eat things like white flour pizza crusts and, oh man, those sub rolls for the Italian beef sandwiches, so good. But the beauty with Trim Healthy Mama is you can jump right back into it 3 hours later, and that's exactly what I did. Now, for us traveling, we went down. I did pack up a lot of snacks for us because it's about a 6.5, almost 7-hour drive down, not including traffic. So I knew that I needed to be very well prepared because I was going to be the only one in the car with the girls, and I needed quick, easy to reach snacks for myself. So I made sure that I had lots of S options. I didn't bring any E options with us just because I find that things like the Crispy Addictions from Trim Healthy Mama cookbook, I love those. And those are dry and you can easily take them with you. Walnuts, I love walnuts. Those are so easy to take. Jerky is easy to take. And technically the jerky that I took was not a fuel pull, but I have one flavor of jerky that I love that is a fuel pull, which is fantastic. So I did that. I also managed to make some turkey wraps before time with low carb wraps, and those were S's because I used homemade ranch dressing to be my dressing on those. So I took all of those things. It made the drive so much easier for me because I didn't have to stop and think about fast food options or restaurant options, even though traveling on Trim Healthy Mama and eating out on Trim Healthy Mama is not a stress for me. Trying to do that by myself with all 3 girls was a lot more to take on. So I tried really hard to set myself up for success. And when we're home, we really love to have something sweet in the evenings, Jared and I. So I made sure to bring a batch of the double soft chocolate cookies from Trim Healthy Table. That worked out beautifully for us. We didn't need to think about like, oh, should we get something sweet because we really want something sweet? Let's just go ahead and deviate. No, instead we were able to stay on our plan and we didn't feel the need to overeat. And I also managed to do really well as far as the weight is concerned because we were walking so many places, so much walking. I wound up gaining only a pound. So I feel like after having all of that fattening bread, that was really good for me. Also, I'm not really sure where I'm falling in my hormonal cycle too. And I know that my weight sort of like climbs a little bit and then it'll drop down once my hormone cycle starts over again. So I know that that's a factor, and I've been really pleased with how my weight has been kind of like stable more or less. So that I'm totally happy with, and the only thing I'm displeased with is my skin. Honestly, like dealing with all of that is just less than fun for me. But we made it home safely. We had a really good time. We crammed in an entire year's worth of field trips into a single week, which is a lot, but we did it. And it was just a lot of fun to just be a family and enjoy our time together. So there was that. Right now, all except for Lauren are pink eye free. She stayed pink eye free the entire trip, and then yesterday was Saturday. Friday, she woke up from a nap with a pink eye and it looked filmy, and I was like, oh no, she caught it too. So it is what it is. We're treating her now, and hopefully with lots of good quality sleep, she kicks this. She has also got the summer head junk stuff going on as well. So anyway, I can't remember what else I had to say. My brain is really foggy. Yes. So anyway, that's what we've been up to this past week. I hope to get back to my normal, regular video schedule soon. I have gotten a ton of curricula. I am so pumped to go through and start sifting through everything and planning everything out for this coming school year. I've got 5 in a row for Molly. I'm going to be trying out Logic of English with Molly. I've got lots of science curricula for Caitlin this year. Oh, I'm so excited. So excited to start digging through all of it and really planning ahead. That's something I just love to do. So anyway, I think I might share that with y'all in future videos. I do need to wrap up this school year, let you know how we did, what we thought of our curriculum, and see how we finished. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this little update video. If you're new here, I would love for you to check out some other videos that I have done, see if it's content that interests you, and I invite you to subscribe if you are interested in it. And I will see y'all in the comments and in the next video. Bye.